Quite frankly, this week's news is beyond wild. After Doctor Doom, the next supervillain is ready for the new Avengers film. And then, out of nowhere, new movies about Predator, Jumanji, and Planet of the Apes are in the pipeline. Not to mention Scary Movie 6, which hardly anybody was expecting until now. And by the way, we also learned about the official theatrical release date of Spider-Man 4. So, stay tuned. Here's your latest KinoCheck news. Thanos is definitely one of the most memorable villains in the MCU. The Titan was actually defeated in Avengers Endgame. However, according to actor Josh Brolin, we might get to see the character one more time in Avengers Secret Wars. In an interview with Deadline, he spoke positively about returning to the role. Quote, "I would do anything the Russos wanted me to do." However, Brolin also emphasized that a return only makes sense if a strong and meaningful story is told. This way, he wants to ensure that Thanos' appearance doesn't just degenerate into mere fan service. His return would certainly make sense. The plot of Secret Wars is based on the same-name comic series by Marvel from 2015, in which different realities and universes collide. These form a new world, the so-called Battle World. In the comics, Thanos plays an essential role and faces off against the ultimate antagonist, Doctor Doom. Doom takes control of the universes and establishes himself as the God Emperor of the Battle World. However, Thanos challenges this claim to power, so there's more than enough potential for the prominent role for the old villain. Avengers Secret Wars will once again be directed by the Russo brothers. In addition to Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, other characters from the MCU have already been confirmed, including the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts. Of course, it's fairly likely that the usual big heroes such as Spider-Man will also be involved. The planned Avengers film will be released in cinemas on May 7th, 2027. And speaking of Spider-Man, Sony has finally officially announced the theatrical release of Spider-Man 4 for July 24th, 2026. That's just 2 months after the release of Avengers Doomsday, which is reminiscent of the release strategy for Far From Home. It was released in 2019, only a short period of time after Avengers Endgame. $1.7 billion at the box office. The first 2 parts of the Jumanji reboot were clearly a success. Naturally, another sequel must follow. The theatrical release date for Jumanji 3 has now finally been announced. The new blockbuster will hit movie theaters on December 11th, 2026. And the competition in this month is quite notable. On the one hand, a currently unknown Star Wars movie is scheduled for release, and on the other, there are plans for the release of Dune 3. According to The Hollywood Reporter magazine, Jake Kasdan is in talks to direct the film, as was the case with the previous movies. The main actors Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Karen Gillan are also expected to reprise their roles of their beloved avatars. No details are known about the plot of Jumanji 3 so far. In the first 2 parts, the characters had to overcome challenges together in order to escape from a video game. It's possible that the concept will be further developed this time with new elements being added. For example, it could be that the new movie is no longer taking place in the jungle, but in a different setting. We'll keep an eye on the project. In 2025, Predator fans should be in for a real treat. In addition to the eagerly awaited Predator Badlands, a second film is surprisingly set to be released. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, studio boss Steve Asbell revealed that Dan Trachtenberg will be responsible for the other film as well. It'll be an animated anthology film set in different eras. The focus is on 3 predators who arrive on Earth in different historical periods. The space hunters apparently fight against pirates and samurai. Predator Badlands, on the other hand, will be released on November 7th, 2025, the original release date of Blade. According to Asbell, ideas for a sequel to Alien Romulus are also being worked on. But that's by no means all. A new Alien vs. Predator film is also being discussed. Unlike its controversial predecessors, the crossover is intended to respect the characters of both film series and not simply come across as a pure action spectacle. It's therefore possible that the characters from the Predator movies will meet the surviving crew members from Alien Romulus. However, there's no concrete information. Great news for all scary movie fans. It's been 11 years since Part 5 made its way into cinemas, and after that, things went quiet around the franchise for a while. But now the wait is over. Scary Movie 6 is in the making, and the Wayans brothers are back in charge. The trio of Marlon, Sean, and Keenan Ivory Wayans are to write the script for the sequel, according to Deadline magazine. There's of course also the chance that one of the brothers will also direct the movie. Most fans will certainly appreciate this, as the trio were significantly responsible for the humor and the making of the first two Scary Movie films. Not only was the first movie a financial success in 2002, it also paved the way for a whole series of so-called spoof films that were released in the following years. There should definitely be enough content for Scary Movie 6. After all, a lot of horror flicks have been released since Part 5 that could be properly made fun of. With worldwide box office takings of around $400 million, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was unable to match the figures of its predecessors. But it was still sufficiently successful, so now another sequel is being planned. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, 20th Century boss Steve Asbell revealed that the so far untitled sequel is due to be released in 2027. It seems that they still believe in the film series' potential. Whether Wes Ball, the director of the predecessor, will return to direct the film is unclear. Ball is currently working on the movie adaptation of the popular video game The Legend of Zelda, which certainly raises questions about his availability. More likely, though, is the return of writing duo Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, who have been involved in the franchise since Rise of the Planet of the Apes. According to reports, the two even have ideas and plans for up to 8 more movies, which indicates a long-term future for the series. We are pretty excited. 5 years have now passed since we were presented with the last Star Wars adventure on the big screen with The Rise of Skywalker. Since then, the franchise has mainly been presented in the form of series on Disney+. But now that will change, as filming on the new movie The Mandalorian Grogu has been completed. The production of the blockbuster went surprisingly smooth, even though some scenes with Pedro Pascal were already shot in early summer. Pascal is very busy and involved in a large number of projects. That's why his doubles slipped into the Mandalorian's armor in many scenes. Not much is currently known about the plot of The Mandalorian Grogu. However, we assume that the end of the 3rd season will serve as the starting point for the movie. The two are more or less officially tasked with keeping order on the outer rim of the galaxy on behalf of the New Republic. Unfortunately, the movie is not scheduled to be released before May 22nd, 2026. And besides that, it remains to be seen which Star Wars film will be released on the currently planned date of December 18th, 2026. The options are Star Wars X: New Jedi Order with Daisy Ridley, and James Mangold's prequel Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi. Mangold recently explained that preparations for his film are now so far advanced that a shooting start in 2025 is within the realms of possibility. Star Wars X, on the other hand, is mainly attracting attention due to its problems. According to World of Real, Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight is said to have left the project as a writer. The reason for this is apparently differences with Lucasfilm over the content of the film. Previously, Lost and Watchmen authors Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson had already dropped out for similar reasons. So when and whether we'll get to see the new movie is still a mystery for now. Alan Ritchson celebrated his big breakthrough in Hollywood with the Amazon series Reacher. Since then, things have been on the rise for the actor. So it's not surprising that the action star is now set to get his own film series. According to Deadline, the film is called Painter and is about a young woman who has been trained as a merciless fighter since she was a child. After her father, played by Alan Ritchson, is kidnapped, she uses all her skills to free him from captivity. The female protagonist is played by Amber Midthunder, who already had to deal with a predator and prey and was able to win over the audience. The screenplay for Painter was written by Derek Kolstad, the creator of the John Wick series. In addition to John Wick, Kolstad was also responsible for a number of other action blockbusters, such as Nobody with Bob Odenkirk and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier from Marvel. The movie will be directed by Garrett Warren, who has already worked as a stunt specialist and coordinator on blockbusters such as Logan, Avatar, and Roadhouse. The film is intended to lay the foundations for a new franchise. So if the box office results are right, we can certainly look forward to one or more sequels. What do you think? Should Thanos really return to the MCU? And which sequel are you most excited about? Let us know in the comments. After that, head to our new KinoCheck Originals. The choice is yours. In keeping with the news, you can check out our movie preview for Predator Badlands, as well as our compilation of the most anticipated horror movies that await us in 2025.